Fighting games is a genre that is best experienced competitively, but there are those, like myself, who still enjoy single-player content and like to score some wins against the artificial intelligence. Not as rewarding, but still enjoyable. However, sometimes the AI can be very dumb and predictable. It's not always a bad thing, mind you, considering how cheap and unfair some opponents can be, especially when SNK bosses are concerned. Finding ways to exploit their AIs can be a real blessing. So brace yourself for some really cheap and lame AI exploits in this video. I also gathered characters that have similar AIs and therefore share the same weakness in one entry. Without further ado, here's the top 10 dumbest AIs in KOF. The American sports team are among the most wanted characters to make a comeback, but let's be honest, it's mainly because of Lucky and Heavy D. Brian, on the other hand, doesn't have as much fans as his two teammates. His design is nothing special and his stance is weird, but one thing he's very good at is hitting hard. Unfortunately, his AI in 98 doesn't use his fearsome moves very well. Brian can easily be baited into executing his super punishable move, Brian Tornado, and for some reason he always goes for the heavy punch version, which is basically Brian asking you to destroy him. Sometimes his AI goes for his Brian Tackle, a little bit safer but still perfectly punishable. Unlike his two partners, with Lucky being a serious pain in the side to deal with, Brian was the weakest member of the American sports team. Pretty ironic when his character is all about strength. In KOF 95, most of the roster have projectiles, and fireballs in that game were kinda OP. It's actually the reason why they got rid of most of them in 96. But in 95, they were an integral part of the gameplay and also the tool to exploit the dumb AI of several characters. Characters like Ralph, Clark, Chang, Kim, and Diamond. There are probably others, but it's these ones who came to my mind. All you need to do against them is to jump back CD, or any button actually, and fire your projectile. The AI will simply keep walking towards you without blocking most of the time. With a little bit of luck, they got stunned as well. The only challenge you would face is when you reach the corner. Since you can't run in 95 and there is no rolling, it's slightly trickier to switch to the other side of the opponent so you can repeat this strategy. But other than that, it's a brainless AI exploit. Yep, he's here too, believe it or not. Rugal is one of the hardest bosses in all fighting games. We all know that. We talked about that so many times on this channel. That doesn't mean that his AI is flawless though. Sometimes it can be quite predictable and stupid. Case in point, his iteration in KOF 98. If you're familiar with Rugal, then you know that he adores spamming his super cheap, infuriating signature move. But in 98, you can bait him into executing it while being at a safe distance. Just keep neutral jumping and he will end up doing it, giving you an easy opportunity to punish him. That is why 98 Rugal is the easiest Rugal to deal with in the series. That being said, he can be stubborn sometimes and keeps firing his projectiles, dealing a great amount of chip damage. Also make sure to be at a safe distance. His DP has a longer reach than it looks. Let's switch to KOF 96 for a bit and focus on its sub-boss, Chizuru Kagura. In that game, she was considered as a wall that prevented many players from reaching the true boss of 96. Her Dragon Punch is OP as heck, shutting down any incoming attack and dealing tons of damage, but it can be used against her as well. You basically need to bait her DP by doing a long jump over her, then punish. But it's not a simple strategy. If you jump too early or too late, you'll be hit by the DP, and Chizuru doesn't always fall for it either. That's why there is a much easier way to beat her. Pick someone with a short-ranged projectile like Kyo, Benimaru, Robert, or my personal favorite, Terry. The latter might have the best tool against Chizuru. Just keep firing those power waves and make sure they don't whiff. Chizuru will drop her guard regularly, and even if she doesn't, the chip damage is enough to take her down. In their case, there used to be an even lamer way to beat her, by spamming Ralph's standing CD until the time runs out, but it no longer worked in the console version. Not the most heroic way to beat someone, I know, but she is an SNK boss. Anything is allowed against these jerks. Like father, like daughter, Hayden and Leona not only share many similar moves, but also AI exploits, all because of how much their AIs love to overuse their neck roller and Excalibur moves in KOF 98. These techniques, although iconic, are extremely punishable. You can beat them by a simple press of a light button from distance. Hayden and Leona can't resist the temptation of launching at you, then hanging in the air after getting blocked, waiting for you to retaliate. Leona has a second dumb move she likes to use, which is her boomerang, one of the worst moves in the series. It has a very slow startup animation, and in the vanilla version of 98, Leona has to stay motionless until her boomerang returns, leaving her open for a very long time. It's funny when you realize that Hayden was so good, or bad, I can't decide, at teaching Leona that even his dumb AI rubbed off on her. To be fair, Orochi and Otomaraga aren't really that stupid. They are more passive than dumb, and I understand why the developers made their AIs that way. Their moves are the epitome of cheapness. If they decide to fight seriously, there isn't much you can do about it but to watch your characters getting destroyed in the blink of an eye. In addition of being passive, Orochi is also very predictable. If he floats slowly towards you, it means he's going for a grab. If he spams his fireballs, it means that the moment his gauge is full, he'll go for a super, and he always executes his pillars of light in succession, which you can avoid by rolling towards Orochi. Otomaraga, on the other hand, may not be as predictable, but she doesn't like to block for some reason. If you knock her down in a corner, it's almost guaranteed that she won't block your next attack, and that's true for her second form as well. It doesn't give her new moves or make her more aggressive. The only change it offers her is the fact that she inflicts more damage and takes less. I have to specify that Orochi in KOF 98 isn't as passive. He will give you a harder time, especially in higher difficulties. As for Otomaraga, I still wish to fight a more aggressive version of her in the boss challenge mode. Now that we've finished with the master, let's carry on with the servants, or rather with one of them, Orochi Shermie in 97. With the exception of Orochi Ashero, the Orochi team isn't as intimidating as it looks. Chris's AI can be easily exploited, but the worst offender is Shermie. She just loves spamming her electric kisses Mugetsu no Rayun. All you gotta do is to wait for her to do the one close to her, then you can run towards her and be 100% sure that you'll be safe. Shermie will immediately try throwing another kiss, which will always be far from both of you, and you can punish her as you like. Or you can punish her from distance if you have projectiles. You'll always catch her in the middle of her kiss animation. It's curious how her regular version is always harder to deal with. Even in 15, players seem to prefer her grappler variation. Getting edgier doesn't make you stronger after all. I have mentioned this one in a previous video, Dark Ash's incapability of blocking law. Once he took control of Ash's body, Psyche presented himself as the true final boss, aka Dark Ash. He sure is frustrating to fight with those freaking fireballs and devastating supers, but all his intimidating aura falls apart when you realize that Dark Ash is clueless against simple sweeps. Really, that's all it takes to take down the big boss of those from the past. There is another iconic character whose AI suffers from the same mental issue, and that character is none other than good old Geese Howard in KOF 96. He's not a boss in that game, true, but it's still hilarious to see arguably the strongest member of the team taken down in such a ridiculous way. It pains me to put Geese and Psyche in a same level, one of them being much more charismatic than the other, but thankfully that's the only thing they have in common. I guess also both of them have blonde hair, but I digress. This entry may seem shocking to some of you. I mean, it's Orochi, Yori and Leona in 97. They are known for their insane speed and aggressiveness, and many consider them even harder than Orochi. All that is true, but they're not particularly smart either. If down D is the bane of Geese and Psyche, Wild Iori and Leona are helpless against down B. That's pretty much all you need to do. Just sit down comfortably in a corner and spam that B button. Iori and Leona tend to do forward rolls a lot before trying to catch you with a DP or a Moonslasher. A sweep may be too slow against their speed, that's why spamming Light Kick is the perfect answer to that. You may take a hit or a fireball every now and then, but chances are they will succumb to your devastating B button before you do to their attacks. One thing you should keep in mind, your character needs to have a long reaching down B. I personally find Leona to be the perfect candidate against them. Before unveiling the number 1 spot, here's some honorable mentions. Yeah, this one may also surprise a lot of you. So you made it past Shizuru. Congratulations! Now you have to deal with friggin' Genets, one of the hardest bosses in KOF, who will infuriate the crap out of you from distance with his tornadoes and destroy you in close range with his super that doesn't require any meter. Unless you pick Chin. Yep, the little old guy is the ultimate secret weapon against KOF 96 final boss. His Kaiten Teki Kototsuken is the one move Genets fears the most. Don't be impressed by its long and intimidating name though. The move consists of Chin laying on the ground. It allows Chin to pass under some fireballs and avoid some attacks. It's by no means a good technique, yet believe it or not, it's more than enough to take down Genets. The funny thing is, Genets can easily destroy Chin with his tornadoes, but for some mysterious reason, his AI will be more like, wow, what is this sick move? I can't deal with that. I've never seen someone laying on their back before. I have to check that up close. And then he dashes towards you, making himself open to Chin's waking up kick. Seeing Genets' AI falling apart like this is spectacular. He goes from super cheap and aggressive to dumb and clueless instantly. It never gets old. And that's why Genets' AI is the dumbest in KOF. Now it's your turn to tell me who is the dumbest character you fought in KOF. I'm pretty sure that there are plenty of stupid AIs in the series that I didn't mention. Share your experience with us in the comments. Special thanks to my patrons for their support. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and why not consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching.